Welcome. We are broadcasting live from the mothership. You are tuned in and listening to Starseed Energy Radio with your host Jonah Bolt. Starseed Energy Radio, where you can always tune in to hear the colors and see the music. Starseed Energy Radio goes live in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, Star Fam? Thanks for tuning in. You're receiving a live transmission from Starseed Energy Radio, where you can always tune in on Friday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern to hear the colors and see the music. I am your host, Jonah Bolt. Today is Friday, March 16th, 2012. And joining me on the show tonight, we have some amazing guests coming on. First, I just want to give a shout-out to the Venus Rising Institute, where I'm broadcasting live in the western North Carolina mountains. Venus Rising Association is a transformational place. It is amazing, and I'm doing a 2-week shamanic breathwork workshop here. So check out shamanicbreathwork.org. Coming on the show tonight, we have a health and wellness update from Thea Summer-Deer, and she's an herbalist and intuitive educator, licensed minister, singer-songwriter, and published author. Check out the TheaSummerDeer.com. Then we're going to get some 5D galactic updates and some awesome breaking news of the stuff we've been talking about the resignations. More resignations are coming down. We have some arrests that happened. Really exciting stuff going on. There's also some really good 3D Earth news updates I got for you. So a lot of Earth changes and stuff happening. And then we're going to get some cosmic code updates from Dr. Louis Torrey, the world's #1 astropsychologist and astronomer. And then on the second half of the show, we have none other than Stephen Bassett, exopolitical activist and executive director of the Paradigm Research Group, leading the disclosure project Petition, the Rockefeller Initiative. He is from ParadigmResearchGroup.org. And don't forget, Starseed Energy Radio is brought to you in part by the Domain Eco Village. The Domain is an exclusive community for the people with environmental consciousness and self-sustaining spirit. Check out DomainEcoVillage.com. And of course, want to give a quick shout out to all the multiple dimensional beings of light, the Galactic Federation, all the enlightened beings and angels that are helping us through this shift. And of course, all the listeners out there. We're reaching over 70 countries now, logging on to Starseed Energy Radio. So, of course, a namaste and thank you to all the listeners and support out there. Because of you guys, the show has been taking off. And, of course, I always just want to take a reminder, you can always log on to Starseed Energy Radio anytime during the week. We have live Twitter feed update on there. My Facebook's on there. And there's always news articles and stuff I put out every day. So follow me on Twitter. And also check out the YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, I post the newest videos and stuff on there. And always got exciting stuff. So check that stuff out. And, again, thanks for all your support. And shout out to everyone out there. And first, let's jump into the most exciting news that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. And what is that? That is the global banker and cabal resignations around the world. When I first started talking about this show a few weeks ago, there was, I think, 60 world leaders and bankers that had resigned and resignations. Now, I am happy to report we are up to 320 resignations from world banks, investment houses, money funds, and world leaders worldwide. 320. Things are really happening. The Galactic Federation has given the cabal and most of the world leaders or whoever is not of the light to step down by March 31st, and this is what's showing it's working. Something is happening. The mainstream media, of course, is not reporting it, but it is happening and going on. So check this out. I posted the article up on StarseedEnergyRadio.com. 320 resignations. It's amazing. On another front, rumors persist that former Microsoft chief Bill Gates has been arrested for his interference with the global economic referendum measures being directed by the Chinese and their Asian allies. This is reported first by Benjamin Fulford. I also saw another article where they actually called up Microsoft to verify this, and they said no comment. Bill Gates owns about half of Monsanto. His father is huge into eugenics. Google this stuff. Check it out. As I always say on the show, don't listen to what I say. Do your own homework. Check it out. Google, YouTube it, and the information's out there. Also, another hunt is on and cable arrests accelerating, and there's also been an indication reported that former President George H.W. Bush Sr. has also been arrested and detained as well and released. Now, this has been happening. We've had several reports of people. Also, Timothy Geithner was arrested and released last week. This is reported. Actually, it was on mainstream news. Judge Napolitano on Fox News actually talked about it, reported it the week he got fired 2 weeks ago. You can Google this stuff and check it out. Also, the breaking news that the Pope in the Vatican is stepping down. This is reported on March 8th. Pope Benedict, a.k.a. John Ratzinger, will resign as of April 15th, 2012, as reported by Italian Daily News. Check that out. So you have Timothy Geithner, one of the Bushes, Bill Gates, and now the Vatican priest, the Pope, is stepping down. These are huge, exciting breakthroughs, Star Fam. Things are happening. This is amazing news. So check this stuff out. I posted articles up on there. And, keep following this stuff. And this is the stuff you need to share with friends, family, and get them excited. This is the year of change and the year of acceleration and transformation. And these are the signs that are proving it. So exciting, exciting stuff. And with that, as always, joining us on the show, we have Dr. Louis Torrey from drtorrey.com. And he's going to give us a cosmic code update. As he reported last month, he talked about Iran and how Iran was going to announce they're going to go back to talks and everything else that he talked about. And that's exactly what happened. It was 2 days shy of his prediction, but he was right on the money. Dr. Torrey, thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, my friends.
Good. How are you?
I'm just being busy as always, preparing my cruises and teaching the power of the subconscious and doing endless radio shows and on all sort of things, as always. Nothing different.
Excellent. And as you were on the show last time, you gave us a Cosmic Code update, and the dates and the topics you talked about were right on the money. So give us an outlook on what this next month is going to be in April, and what do you see coming for us in the next coming month?
Okay, why don't we just go for the next 2 or 3 days instead?
There you go. Lead the way.
Because you know what? People have a very short memory, my friend. I have learned that at 62 years of age. I have learned that people don't remember past tomorrow. So why don't I give you the next 3 days type of energy coming down from the cosmic code? We are about to experience a sudden release of energy. Of course, the scientists who don't have cosmic consciousness will blame the sunspots or will blame the weather or God knows what. But it is coming from the cosmic code, this sudden release of energy, starting as of tomorrow for the next 3 days, will produce an earthquake above 6.0. Of course, the Ring of Fire in Japan are targeted. and hopefully, those large earthquakes will not produce a tsunami. So that is serious. Now we are talking about large explosion, news about nukes. Of course, Iran is on the line. Of course, the keywords are surprise, shocking news, explosion, and serious natural disaster. I give you 3 days as of tomorrow, and we'll talk again next time you have me on the show.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And as you talked about last time, these earth changes and stuff are going to amplify, going to speed up as we get closer to the end of 2012, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, there is a full restructure of the banking industry taking place also. The dollar's got to change colors. All the people that have done wrong to the United States and our threats are aimed by karma. So a lot of people are responsible for the current devastating state of the U.S. economy, going slowly but surely to be reached by karma, where it'll be practically impossible to hide their secret financial greedy affairs. So justice is accelerating. As I said on my website, you have the full set of universal predictions from 2012 to 2014 for any one of your listeners willing to check the future.
And as always, you can check drtory.com for your latest Cosmic Code updates. You can sign up for your newsletters and get all the information on your site.
Yes, that's basically what it is. I just finished. I got confirmation that my predictions on the Discovery Channel will be aired at the end of this year during the fall, and people are going to be really, really impressed by the values involving my methodology, which is based upon Nostradamus 16 divine astrology, rare science. So there is something with the stars. Of course, there are a lot of psychics doing their jobs out there, but they don't have cosmic consciousness, so they can talk about God knows what. But with Dr. Curie, you get into fact. And again, I put my signatures, I put the green where my mouth is, and in the next 3 days, you're going to remember Dr. Curie, and you're going to go to the Cosmic Code, and you're going to become a Cosmic Coder, because I am CNN before CNN, and my predictions are matches, and they are very, very real. And again, I'm not saying this on a spiritual, on a egocentric point of view. I'm just pointing out the fact, and I will let your audience be the judge, my friend.
Excellent. As always, thank you so much, Dr. Torrey, for coming on the show and giving us an outlook on the future. And, of course, we will have you back next month. Talk to you soon, my friend. Thank you.
All right, my friend. Good night.
Okay. All right, and that was an awesome Cosmic Code update from Dr. Torrey, and he'll be joining us once a month to give us some Cosmic Code updates and also what he sees. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to go into some more 3D Earth changes and some news that I found have been covering. And that track that we started off with and what we'll be playing through tonight is Moon Over Miami by DJ Tom Forley. And with that, enjoy some Moon Over Miami. Be right back.
music.
All right, and welcome back. You're listening to Starseed Energy Radio. And, of course, Dr. Tori, thank you for coming on and giving us the Cosmic Code update. Now, going into some 3D Earth changes real quick, and then we're going to get some health and wellness updates from Dr. Thea Summer-Deer. First, talking about Indonesia, a new volcano in Indonesia. The Lamongan volcano in eastern Java is showing signs of unrest. Weak steaming from its active crater and increasing earthquakes were reported by Indonesian scientists. The increase in earthquakes started on February 23rd, and seismic increased again significantly on March 8th, when tremor was recorded continuously the next day. Now, what this is just another sign that the earth changes are here and coming. Now, this is a huge super volcano. There's swelling on it. There's earthquakes coming. You can check out the extinctionprotocol.wordpress.com for more updates on some more volcanic and earthquake activities, one of the sites that I check weekly. There's also some other stuff on there about some other volcanoes around the world, but that is the biggest one right now that's being activated. Also, we had this last week the biggest solar storm in years that raced towards Earth, disrupted power grids, GPS around the world. You can check out globaltoronto.com. That has some more earth changes and also stuff like that. Also, some big news. Vice President Joe Biden moves with Walter Jones to impeach President Obama. And this is a YouTube video that was posted up and basically talks about the context of what is going on. The major news media outlets are, of course, now reporting this to you. North Carolina Congressman Walter Jones filed a House resolution for the initial stages of impeaching President Obama due to the president's dictator-like actions of going to war and invading other countries, supposedly authorized by the UN, world government, powers as well as NATO. Not the Congress as authorized in the Constitution. Talk about the Constitution, we have the NDAA Act and the SOPA bill, which basically put the Constitution to rest, which was signed in on January 1st, 2012, which was my birthday, and Obama signed the NDAA Act, which basically ended all of our Bill of Rights and Constitution. And it's a mess. Also, Vice President Biden has agreed to help impeach the president after explaining that indeed only the U.S. Congress has the power to declare war. Furthermore, he warned that any more undeclared wars, such as the current warmongered Iran fiasco, will lead into an undoubtedly supported impeachment of the president. Now, talking about Iran, there is a buildup there. We're talking about Iran and Syria. The U.S. Navy has a military buildup right now in the Strait of Hormuz. We've been talking about this. Ryan has been updating us with GCN Network. The U.S. Navy has confirmed it is doubling the number of minesweepers in the Persian Gulf in an apparent move to prepare for a possible standoff with Iran over the crucial oil export route. It's really not about the oil. It's about what we talked about 5 years ago. The U.S. said that they're going over to the Middle East and taking over 7 countries, them including was Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Iran, and so far they've taken over 5 of them. Taking over meaning we have troops over there, put the countries, you have Libya, put the countries basically to shambles, totally destabilize the region, and now our eyes are set on Iran and Syria. So again, be aware of this stuff. It's in prophecies. It's stuff that people are talking about. Nostradamus. It's been written many books, many things. So pay attention to this stuff because these are more signs that the times of change are coming, and this is why the change has to come because war doesn't get anyone anywhere. Talking about war, this is coming from the South American countries. Banning the drug war pushed for so long by the United States. There's many Latin American countries that are meeting with other heads of states from down there. You have political leaders from Costa Rica, Guatemala, El Salvador, Colombia, Mexico, Argentina, Uruguay, Peru, Honduras, and others that have voiced support for banning the drug war and talked about the U.S. war on drugs. That stuff's got to stop. There's no war on drugs. Ever since they started the war on drugs, everything has almost doubled with the killings, with the drugs. We all know, if you don't know, the CIA has huge operations. Just like in Afghanistan, all of our troops are growing poppy fields. Did you guys know that before 2001 we invaded Afghanistan, it was almost eradicated opium by the Taliban? There's almost no opium whatsoever because the Taliban almost eradicated all poppy fields. Now, Afghanistan is producing 95% of the world's opium, which goes right to prescription drugs, which is tied in prescription companies with our governments, and it doesn't take rock science to figure out what we're doing, but protecting, or just talk to the soldiers. They're protecting poppy fields over there, amongst other things. We don't belong there. So you have war on AIDS, war on drugs, war on this, war on cancer. Why war? War on terror. It's all about fear-based stuff. War on everything. No more war. It's time for the time and the shift of Aquarius, the time for love and light and peace, and all this war stuff is going to end. As Dr. Tori and I reported in the beginning of the show, these changes, these resignations are going to continue, and the new wave, the new era is going to come into play. And real quickly, this article is pretty funny. Hackers elect cartoon character to Washington, D.C. school board thanks to electronic voting. If you don't think there could be more reasons to dump the wholly unreliable, laughable, insecure electronic voting machines, get ready for this. Bender Rodriguez, better known as simply Bender from the television series Futurama, was elected as the 2010 school board in Washington, D.C. That's right. A cartoon character was written in and won by a landslide thanks to the hard work of hackers from the University of Michigan. The most astounding part of the whole story is that it only took them a few hours to accomplish the feat. Electronic voting, the whole thing is rigged. There is no two-party Republican Democrat. It's a one-party, one-headed, two-headed snake. And that's it on the news. We're going to jump into some health and wellness update. And joining us on the show, as always, is Dr. Thea Summer-Deer from TheaSummerDeer.com. All right, and Dr. Deer, thank you for coming on the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. It's my pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So we're going to go over some health and wellness updates. As always, you're a holistic practitioner and you just wrote a new book about the different types of plants that have so many different benefits. And tonight we're going to focus on lavender. So jump right into it. What can you tell us about the beautiful plant lavender?
Well, she really wanted to be here with us tonight, so I was excited that I was getting to share her. I'd like to talk a little bit about her anatomy, if I might, because that'll give us a clue about some of the other things that she's about. Lavender has 5 united sepals and 5 united petals, and that number is significant, and I'll come back to that in a minute because we're moving into the 5th dimension, and when you gaze into the sepals and the petals of this plant, she just takes you right there. It really helps us shift into that 5th dimension of consciousness. And she is a member of the family, the mint family, that was formerly called Labiatae. It is now known as Lamiaceae, but Labiatae is an anatomical term that describes the upper and lower lip of its petals, and these were thought to resemble the female labium. So this plant is about receptivity. It is through the receptive feminine that we descend, that our spirit descends into duality. So this is a plant that also teaches us about duality. There's so many gifts that she brings us on a physical level, just practically speaking, and how she can assist us is through her essential oil. It is the most widely used essential oil, and I use it for 2 things very successfully a lot, so I'll just share those with you. It certainly does a lot more than just 2 things. But if you are struggling with headaches, tension headaches, anxiety, or stress-related headaches, I can tell you from not only my experience and my practice, but also personally, that if you diffuse lavender oil and you combine it with cypress and basil and just diffuse it in the room that you're in, you will not have to take a Tylenol or an Advil. And my husband will attest to that too. It has completely resolved any headache issues that we've had where in the past I might have had to have run for a Tylenol. So very beneficial. And the other thing I use it for the most is when I have a client coming to work with me who I know has issues around safety, around feeling safe and supported in their life. Maybe they've had some spirit loss, at some point in their life, some trauma, that essential oil also diffused in the room really helps people to feel safe. And we need to feel safe in order to heal. So it's a great herb to use. It can also be burned like you would on a charcoal, like you might burn sage. And it can be done in that way, and it can be made into a tea and drunk as a tea. It's a wonderful ally.
Now, I also learned here at Isis Cove, talking to people, doing shamanic breath work over the weekend for 2 weeks now, and you are very familiar with Isis Cove here,
Yeah.
that lavender could be used for all sorts of things like burns and stuff like that. Where can people find out more information about lavender? I know you have a new book out. Tell us about that.
I do. My book is called Wisdom of the Plant Devas, Herbal Medicine for a New Earth. So you will not only learn some of the practical applications of this plant, but also its history and its folklore, stories, political concerns, but also its divination and its plant spirit medicine. And the deva, I channel the devas of each of the plants that are in my book. So there's a spiritual message that these plants are carrying for us at this time. And you can find out more about that on my website, which is theasummerdeer.com, and that's summer like the season and deer like the four-legged.
And going into 2012 and the shift of consciousness happening and a transformation, why is it so important right now to learn about these plants and be in touch with them?
Well, again, I think they have a powerful spiritual message for us. They not only heal our physical bodies, but also our minds and our emotions and our spirits. And, this is where we bring, this plant, again, teaches us about duality. And when we talk about duality, maybe we're talking about right brain, left brain, and whole brain thinking. Well, when we come into a relationship with a plant and its plant spirit medicine, we have more whole brain thinking being activated so that we can really use the whole plant in its whole form without having to isolate some of the active constituents from the rest of the plant. We get the synergy of the whole plant, and that synergy is on all levels. So these plants are capable of healing us and recalibrating us at this time. And the other thing that lavender does is it restores the nervous system. It's a mild sedative for the central nervous system. And right now we are being so downloaded with so much information in the form of light. I mean, all the photons that are flooding onto the planet, that our nervous systems are really in need of this recalibration. And the way that lavender recalibrates us is by helping us to become more receptive. And the more receptive we can become, the more able we are to receive these messages from the unseen worlds. And it's through receptivity and acceptance and allowing that we're able to embrace both sides of our dualistic natures and become more whole. I think we'll all agree that we have both light and shadow, and that these are two ends of the same spectrum. Lavender teaches us a lot about this spectrum of light because it exists on a lavender ray, which contains both blue and pink. So it has a lot to teach us about this integration of the masculine and the feminine that is so important for us right now.
And also stepping into 2012, I was more thinking along the lines of, when the real big changes come, which are coming, like solar flares and the grid goes off, people are going to need to know this information, holistic medicine, what plants can do, because you're not going to be able to go to your stores and get Tylenol and things like that. So
right.
That's what sticks out in my mind why it's so important to learn about these plants and what they can do, because it's going to be needed in the upcoming shift that's happening. And talking about going into 5D, talk a little bit about the duality and unity consciousness.
Well, by integrating our inner feminine and masculine, we learn how to navigate between unity and duality, because really it's all the same. It's part of the same spectrum, and that's part of the paradox of unity, is that like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical but different in degree. So I think it's through this integration of the inner masculine and the inner feminine that we make the shift. It is my experience, and it's also my belief, is that when we fully integrate the fourth dimension, then we get to shift into the fifth. And it is through this inner integration that this is going to happen.
And when we talk about the fourth and fifth dimension, talking in terms of dimensions, here we are in 3D. What dimensions do the plant divas reside in? Is it the fourth or fifth or all of them?
They live in the fifth dimension of illumination. And, we have to fully integrate the duality of this world before we can achieve the next, where there is no separation and only illumination. And this has been predicted by a lot of the prophecies in the Hopi prophecy that we're leaving the fourth world of separation and that we are entering the fifth world of illumination. The devas are already in light body. They are in the fifth dimension, and they are impulsing us in the third dimension to integrate through the fourth dimension. And I have a whole philosophy about that in my book, which is I think you would agree that we live in the third dimension that is governed by duality, and that the fourth dimension is the dimension of time. But what I am suggesting is that we are only seeing the part of the fourth dimension that we call time that is linear time, when in reality it's not linear, but that's the part that intersects with the third dimension is this linear time. When we fully integrate the masculine and the feminine, we will transcend time. We will know time as non-linear, which it is in reality, and then that is when we will be in that light body. I mean, we're evolving into our light bodies, and with the devas already being in light body, we might also think of them as the ascended masters. They're holding open the door for us to make this evolutionary leap at this time.
Excellent. Well said. Thank you so much, Dr. Deer. You always have great information, and always on the health and wellness tip have good stuff for us to really pay attention to, because the plants and the fruits and stuff like that are very important in this upcoming year and upcoming shift. So thanks again for coming on the show and spreading some light and love to all the listeners.
Yes, thank you. And you're spreading it too.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank you so much.
You're doing. Aha.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon. And again, her website is theasummerdeer.com. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we will have Stephen Bassett, the exopolitical activist and the executive director of the Paradigm Research Group. So here's a little Moon Over Miami by DJ Tom Forley. Enjoy. welcome back. You are tuned in and listening to Starseed Energy Radio. And now joining us on the show is Stephen Bassett, exopolitical activist and executive director of the Paradigm Research Group, leading the disclosure project Petition II, the Rockefeller Initiative. Check out paradigmresearchgroup.org. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm fine, John. It's great to be with you.
Excellent. Thank you. So first, jump into what exactly Disclosure Project Petition is, too, for the listeners that don't know, and where you are at with it.
Just drop out that word project. Disclosure Petition. Paradigm Research Group is an advocacy group. It's been pushing the government to basically end the little charade that's been going on, and I think most of your listeners know has been going on, namely that we're not alone in the universe and that the government's known that for quite some time. They just didn't feel we were ready to, quote, hear that information. Fine. But that no longer is acceptable. And so since 1996, PRG has been part of a movement, a growing international movement, to get the United States government and other world governments to finally fess up and say, yeah, you're not alone. There's ETs here. And that would be what we call disclosure, be a formal event, and it would be easily the most profound event in human history. So we're talking about heavy, big stuff with huge implications. Over the 16 years, PRG has done a ton of things, but right now it's been utilizing a petition program that the White House actually launched on their own website called We the People. A gift, to be sure, where they ask people to submit petitions, get signatures. You get enough signatures, you get a response from the White House. Fine. So we put up a Disclosure Petition 1 on September 22nd. We needed just 5,000 signatures. We got those in 5 days, and the response from the White House came on November the 4th. This is notable for several reasons. One, it's the first time the White House, the executive branch of the U.S. government, has ever put their position on the ET issue in writing, which is a milestone and important. Secondly, their position was there's no evidence at all for any of this. No evidence for life outside the planet, no evidence for any extraterrestrial presence, any engagement of humans by non-human intelligence, and even no evidence at all that the government has been hiding anything these last 6 decades. Why they said that, why they took the hard line, don't know, but I think most of your audience instantly recognizes that those positions are completely false, and even better, completely indefensible. So the first petition achieved a substantial, I think, a milestone, as I said. So what we did was wait a bit and then submit a second petition called Disclosure Petition 2. This petition is designed to draw the media into the issue by challenging the administration on multiple levels. And essentially what this petition does is to literally ask the Obama administration to investigate the Clinton administration's involvement in the ET issue via the Rockefeller Initiative that was begun in March 29th of 1993 and went on for 2.5 years. None of the people that were involved and knew about it, major government principals, have ever spoken about it or been asked about it by the press. In other words, it's a don't ask, don't tell thing, and that way to keep it from escalating, which is just not acceptable given that 4 of the people ran for president: Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Richardson, and Al Gore. Leon Panetta also knew about it, and so did John Podesta. These are major figures in the Democratic Party. One's a Secretary of State, one's a Secretary of Defense, formerly a CIA director. One ran for president, governor of New Mexico, Secretary of Energy. And, of course, Bill Clinton is considered one of the most popular and ever-present political figures in the world. None of these people have spoken about this initiative. So this petition literally names their names, puts the links up on the White House website directly to the documents confirming it all, so that the press could look at this and say, wait a minute, how can people run for president and actually almost win the presidency, as Al Gore and Hillary Clinton almost did, and yet feel they can't tell us about the fact that a former president's administration was engaging the ET issue for 2.5 years through the Office of Science and Technology Policy? So this is activism, Jonah. This is chess moves in a long game that's been going on for 65 years. But the government is not without its resources. So what the White House did was they raised the threshold for getting a response from the White House from 5,000 signatures in 30 days to 25,000 signatures in 30 days. And then, more importantly, a lot of problems have been emerged at the site. I'm getting all kinds of emails all over the world. People that cannot sign in, they can't log in, they can't create an account, and so forth. And this has been going on for a while. I've corresponded with them. I've got in touch with the White House, We the People moderators. They claim that they're fixing all these things, but the fact is that, let's just say, it's been difficult for people to sign. Obviously, we've got about 6,800 signatures, but the process has been corrupted. So we're not going to make 25,000 signatures by March the 24th. The petition will be pulled down at that point. However, we have generated already some news articles, a number of international press releases, and the platform has been laid to try to draw the press into the political aspects of this at the high level. This is maneuvering. It's a little sophisticated, a little complicated. I understand most listeners are probably having trouble following it. But what they need to know is that Paradigm Research Group remains and will remain committed to advocating for the end of this truth embargo, that it is no longer acceptable for the world's governments, and I assure you most of the industrialized nations are fully aware of the ET presence within, at minimum, their military intelligence communities. It's no longer acceptable for these countries to deny this truth to the world's people. Just as it wasn't acceptable for the Catholic Church, for its own doctrinal reasons, to deny the truth of the solar system, of cosmology, of the world that people were in from their own people, even to the extent that they killed people, murdered people, excommunicated people who dared to challenge their, quote, embargo on the Copernican revolution. Well, the U.S. government's done the same thing. Different reasons, and some of those reasons were not without justification. The Cold War was the principal barrier to allowing this truth out in a formal way. But that war has been over for 21 years. And so that's what's going on. And I believe that we're winning, and the press is very close to jumping into this. But it's not a done deal yet. But one day, and possibly very soon, your audience is going to wake up, and they're going to hear that there's an announcement coming that night by the president. He'll be speaking to the people. And that evening, the president or one of his designated individuals at a subsequent press conference is going to announce, finally, that, yes, we aren't alone in the universe. There are multiple civilizations out there. We're being engaged. And we will try to tell you more soon. And thus the post-disclosure world will begin.
Now, talking about some other world leaders, and you are correct, most of our listeners do know that there is ET presence and have had visitations and other sorts of things. Like very recently, in early January this year, the Japanese princess came on and was held at a conference, and she even disclosed her own that she has had contact and experiences herself. You also had the Chinese president last year when Obama left, went on TV and made a remark that Obama would possibly do disclosure sometime this year. And also about 8 months ago, the FBI put out a one-page press release saying that they did recover a craft and 3 bodies at Roswell. So
that was a memo that turned up on a site. There's been a lot of bubbling. You know, the pot's boiling. We're starting to see some bubbles come up to the surface. And I'm obviously following all of this. Probably one of the most significant things, Jonah, is that, as I'm sure your listeners also know, that the truth embargo, which was, again, a serious policy of the United States government, it wasn't casual. They spent enormous amounts of money and used all of the resources available to them to prevent this issue from becoming an openly acknowledged and accepted reality, to be studied in the universities or dealt with by the Congress or covered properly by the press or funded by philanthropists or granting institutions. They did everything to prevent that, and they were successful. But it also had the effect of driving huge numbers of people into the closet, particularly contactees, who under the truth embargo's aura or in that state, they couldn't talk. Many couldn't even talk to their own families. Now that's changing. People are starting to come out of that closet. By the way, I believe that no society should put anybody in the closet for any reason. It's unacceptable, or force people rather. And this is going to be a major trend. Recently, about a year ago, Sammy Hagar, who is a very well-known and popular rock star, still performs, obviously huge back in the 60s, 70s, in a memoir made it clear that he has been in contact. He is basically a contactee since childhood. About a month and a half ago, Fran Drescher, who is a popular television star, she has a new show coming up, made it clear that she has been having contact. Others are going to come forward from the celebrity world, as it were. And you know how things are in our culture. When celebrities start talking about things, people pay attention. But it's also possible that some former politicians or military people of known or renown may do this. So, again, more bubbles in the pot. The message that I have been trying to give to the government through press releases, open letters to officials like Obama and Hillary Clinton, and through websites and everything else is that really, folks, you really can't delay this much longer. That you're damaging the country, you're damaging the social contract, you're damaging trust in government, which is at historic lows. And other countries are making moves. They're engaging in research. Their witnesses are coming forward. They're supporting UFO research. They're releasing tens of thousands of files. And so one day we may wake up and discover, oh, China has finally informed the world's people we're not alone. Or Russia, which those two in particular would, I think, create significant geopolitical problems for us, because the nation and the leader that tells this first, that ends this embargo first, is going to achieve an historical and political legacy of almost incalculable value. And those nations that were sitting on their hands are going to be viewed not so well, particularly the United States, which has led the truth embargo from the beginning. In other words, the U.S. leads this in truth embargo, starts it off, and then doesn't end it. It gets all of the negative blowback from that without the positive upside of being the nation to finally tell the truth to the world's people. So, you know, I realize our government right now is about it in one of its most difficult times. It's dysfunctional. It can't get anything done. It takes forever just to accomplish the modest task. It's embroiled in wars. It's got more wars set up. It's a mess. I understand that. But, you know, the world doesn't care. The world is what it is. Reality is what it is. And so the idea, well, the United States couldn't tell you the truth because you had this problem and that problem, history's not going to care. We are at a crossroads. And it's also 2012. And this is the year of transition from everything I hear. The year of massive change. It's the year of expectations. It's the year of yearning. There are 7 billion people on this planet, and they know things aren't going well. They know they could get a lot worse. And they're yearning for reform. They're yearning for it to be heard. And so now is an opportunity, coincidence or the Mayans predicted it 2,000 years ago, whatever, for nations to say, yeah, guess what? There is major change coming. There is a transition underway. You're not alone in this galaxy. Lord knows where we'll be and what will be the nature of our civilization in even 10 or 15 years from now if we move forward on this. So this is kind of what's in play, and the only thing that's missing, Jonah, is we need more collective action. We need more people to step into it, to get directly involved. I'm disappointed we didn't get 25,000 signatures on that petition. We still have 8 days. The website is DISCLOUSUREPetition.info, and you can jump right from there to the White House website, open an account, sign the darn thing, spread the link, whatever. We still have 8 days, but in either case, we'll continue to move forward until we get the job done, because going backward is just not an option.
Well, I mean, it's common sense to me and a lot of my listeners. If you just look at every indigenous tribe on the planet, the signs that they even knew that we came from the stars, like the Dogna tribe in South Africa. They have maps of the solar star systems, and it's impossible they couldn't even known. And I mean, the proof is everywhere in every ancient site, indigenous tribe, and you know, it's going to come out. I firmly believe that as well. It is a big year of transformation. And one of the things that I think it's not coming out is for the corporations, the oil giants and things like that, because when disclosure does happen, our galactic family would help us introduce things such as free energy and stuff like that, and that is something they definitely don't want, correct?
Well, yeah, I think it's worth considering. There's no question that there will be some winners and losers. I'm not worried about the oil industry executives and shareholders suddenly going broke. That's not going to happen. They will easily be able to shift their resources and invest in a new energy reality as it emerges, and it will take time. There will be a transition. If there is a major breakthrough in energy, which we desperately need, sitting in government labs right now, as discovered through re-engineering ET craft, of which we have a number of them, then yes, it could trigger a revolution in this century. Oil will become a non-factor, but it'll take time. Resources will be shifted. But, the nature of corporate greed now is so great. It's really off the scale that, there's no amount enough. In other words, rather than say, well, we have to go through a transition, we'll have to reallocate our resources, invest in a new energy. No, let's just keep pumping oil at higher and higher and higher prices, make billions and billions and billions more, and die as wealthy as we can. But fortunately, and not everybody agrees with me on this, I believe the oil industry, the nuclear industry, the gas industry, the coal industry, and other aspects of our culture which feel they may lose in a post-disclosure world, they're basically taking advantage of the truth embargo. In other words, the government has imposed this, they're holding off, and they're saying, okay, if you're going to hold off, then let's milk it. Let's don't drill, let's don't build new refineries, let's just jack the price up, sell as much as we can, because one day the party will be over. They're not driving it, they're not controlling it. I believe this is a national security matter. I believe it is run by the military intelligence community at the deepest levels, and I believe that the nature of things right now is that they can't get together with the executive branch, have a meeting, and make the decision to act. The oil company executives are not roaming around the basement of the CIA telling national security people what to do regarding ET so they can make more bucks. I think they'd throw their butt right out the door. So I think you need to be aware of the potential impact or influence from the corporate world. In fact, we need to be aware of the corporate world much greater than we ever have, because it's gone rogue. It's out of control. It's doing what it does, which is to make tons of money at any cost, and the cost is no longer acceptable. But that's kind of a separate issue. This is an issue between the military intelligence communities of most of the industrial nations and the executive branches of those governments. In some cases, the leader, head of state, is aware of the ET presence. In some cases, they're not. In our case, right now, I do not believe that the president is briefed on this. That doesn't mean he hasn't been tipped off. There's a difference. It's very complicated, but nonetheless, any one of these nations has got more than enough gun camera footage from their chase planes, their defensive Air Force chase planes, to throw that up on a screen and say, guess what, folks, we're not alone. The question is when. My feeling is it needs to happen soon, because there is a potential for a major war breakout in the Middle East or a major terrorist attack, which would immediately, everybody goes medieval, and the only thing that really is on the table after that for an indefinite number of years is bombing. I'd like to see this done before that happens, before we get dragged off in another war or multiple wars. I'd like to see the people finally learn the truth about the world they live in, so that they can make decisions about war and peace, but in the post-disclosure world, as opposed to the old paradigm pre-disclosure world, where the rules don't really work anymore.
Absolutely. And again, your website is paradigmresearchgroup.org. And
that's the home site, main site, but the petition site, disclosurepetition.info, there you can learn about it and jump right to the White House website, to the petition, where you have to open an account with We the People in order to sign.
Gotcha. And I was on the website earlier, and I tried one of the links too, and it was broke. It took me to an advertisement site. So I'm sure they have a part in hacking or doing whatever they can to not get those signatures.
They may be messing with it. I don't know if they are. Well played. What can I say? It's a chess game. It would be cynical. It would be kind of sad, kind of pathetic. But we did get. See, the key is that they started this project. We had that first disclosure petition up, virtually the third one submitted on day one when the threshold was only 5,000. I think we blindsided them a little bit. That petition got those signatures. It needed a response. They waited about 3 weeks. They finally gave it, and what they handed us was a gift. Because let me be nice. Most of the reporters working in the Washington political scene are more than capable of reading that statement and knowing in their gut this isn't true. And so now that it's a formal statement, it's a mainstream matter, it's on the White House website, there's a lot of reporters and editors that are thinking, that's not true. I know there's enough evidence that that's not true, and I think I'm green-lighted to go after that story. In which case, they may start asking questions of Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Leon Panetta, John Podesta, Albert Gore, and Bill Richardson. And if they do, I can assure you that none of those people have a truthful answer that would not trigger a media firestorm.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, we hope to have you back on the show in the upcoming months so you can give us some more updates on how the Disclosure Petition 2 is going. And for all the listeners out there, please take the time, go on the site, sign the document, do what you can, and support this because disclosure is needed, and it is needed now. Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Jonah.
Excellent. And with that, we're going to take a quick break and listen to some more Moon Over Miami, and we'll do a quick wrap-up when we get back. So here's some more DJ Tom Forley. Enjoy. Welcome back again. Thank you, Stephen, for coming on the show. And, of course, check out ParadigmResearchGroup.org and check out the Disclosure Petition 2, the Rockefeller Initiative. It's time for disclosure. We want it. StarFam, get active, get involved, sign the petition. Upcoming next week, we have an amazing lineup. Check out these guests coming the next couple of weeks. Next week, we have Dr. Kent Mesplay, the 2012 presidential candidate for the Green Party, is coming on the show. March 30th, we have Berta Graff, a sound healer. Check out graphwellness.com. Also, David Griffin is coming on the show that same day from Exopolitics in Great Britain. It's going to be an amazing interview. And then April 6th, we have Dr. Nick Begich from earthpulse.com. Dr. Nick Begich is the eldest son of the late United States Congressman from Alaska. He also co-authored with also Gene Manning, the book Angels Don't Play This Harp, talking about the HARP project, advances in Tesla technology. Begich also has authored Earth Rising, The Revolution Toward 1,000 Years of Peace, and his latest book, Earth Rising 2, The Betrayal of Science, Society, and the Soul, both with the late James Rhetoric. April 13th, we have Dr. Rocco A. Errico coming on the show. He is an ordained minister, international lecturer and author, spiritual counselor, and one of the nation's leading biblical scholars working from the original Aramaic Peshiva texts. Also on that show will be Jonathan Zapp. Jonathan is a photographer, author, teacher, paranormal researcher, and philosopher. Check out zapporacle.com. And also coming up in the next couple of weeks, we have Nisha Duncan from New Zealand, who is a master avatar. I can't wait for that interview. It's going to be really cool. Again, check out my latest news and updates on starseedenergyradio.com. You could also follow me on Twitter. Check out my Facebook and my YouTube channel. Always posted up new videos. Got a new one up called Galactic Conclave, which I attended here in Asheville, North Carolina. It was amazing. That is it for tonight, Star Fam. The time is now. Start telling people one by one. That's how we awaken exciting times, exciting news. Keep the energy flowing, keep the energy going. We are all leaders. Remember that. one by one is how we'll awaken. And I will speak to you all, be with you all this week. And with that, enjoy some more Moon Over Miami from DJ Tom Forley. Starseed Energy Radio out. Talk to y'all next week. Enjoy. Right on the money. Dr. Torrey, thank you for joining us on the show.
Yeah, my friends.
Good. How are you?
I'm just being busy as always, preparing my cruises and teaching the power of the subconscious and doing endless radio shows and on all sort of things, as always. Nothing different.
Excellent. And as you were on the show last time, you gave us a Cosmic Code update, and the dates and the topics you talked about were right on the money. So give us an outlook on what this next month is going to be in April, and what do you see coming for us in the next coming month?
Okay, why don't we just go for the next 2 or 3 days instead?
There you go. Lead the way.
Because you know what? People have a very short memory, my friend. I have learned that at 62 years of age. I have learned that people don't remember past tomorrow. So why don't I give you the next 3 days type of energy coming down from the cosmic code? We are about to experience a sudden release of energy. Of course, the scientists who don't have cosmic consciousness will blame the sunspot, or will blame the weather, or God knows what. But it is coming from the cosmic code, this sudden release of energy, starting as of tomorrow for the next 3 days, will produce an earthquake above 6.0. Of course, the Ring of Fire in Japan are targeted, and hopefully, those large earthquakes will not produce a tsunami. So that is serious. Now we are talking about large explosion, news about nukes. Of course, Iran is on the line. Of course, the keywords are surprise, shocking news, explosion, and serious natural disaster. I give you 3 days as of tomorrow, and we'll talk again next time you have me on the show.
Welcome. We are broadcasting live from the mothership. You are tuned in and listening to Starseed Energy Radio with your host, Jonah Bolt. Starseed Energy Radio, where you can always tune in to hear the colors and see the music. Starseed Energy Radio goes live in 3, 2, 1.
And what's up, Star Fam? Thanks for tuning in. You're receiving a live transmission from Starseed Energy Radio, where you can always tune in on Friday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern to hear the colors and see the music. I am your host, Jonah Bolt. Today is Friday, March 16th, 2012. And joining me on the show tonight, we have some amazing guests coming on. First, I just want to give a shout-out to the Venus Rising Institute, where I'm broadcasting live in the western North Carolina mountains. Venus Rising Association is a transformational place. It is amazing, and I'm doing a 2-week shamanic breathwork workshop here. So check out shamanicbreathwork.org. Coming on the show tonight, we have a health and wellness update from Thea Summer Deer, and she's an herbalist and intuitive, educator, licensed minister, singer, songwriter, and published author. Check out the TheaSummerDeer.com. Then we're going to get some 5D galactic updates and some awesome breaking news of the stuff we've been talking about the resignations. More resignations are coming down. We have some arrests that happened. Really exciting stuff going on. There's also some really good 3D Earth news updates I got for you. So a lot of Earth changes and stuff happening. And then we're going to get some cosmic code updates from Dr. Louis Torrey, the world's #1 astropsychologist and astronomer. And then on the second half of the show, we have none other than Stephen Bassett, exopolitical activist and executive director of the Paradigm Research Group, leading the disclosure project Petition, the Rockefeller Initiative. He is from ParadigmResearchGroup.org. And don't forget, Starseed Energy Radio is brought to you in part by the Domain Eco Village. The Domain is an exclusive community for the people with environmental consciousness and self-sustaining spirit. Check out DomainEcoVillage.com. And of course, want to give a quick shout out to all the multiple dimensional beings of light, the Galactic Federation, all the enlightened beings and angels that are helping us through this shift. And of course, all the listeners out there. We're reaching over 70 countries now logging on to Starseed Energy Radio. So of course, a namaste and thank you to all the listeners and support out there. Because of you guys, the show has been taking off. And of course, I always just want to take a reminder, you can always log on to Starseed Energy Radio anytime during the week. We have live Twitter feed update on there. My Facebook's on there. And there's always news articles and stuff I put out every day. So follow me on Twitter. And also check out the YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, I post the newest videos and stuff on there. And it always got exciting stuff. So check that stuff out. And again, thanks for all your support. And shout out to everyone out there. And first, let's jump into the most exciting news that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. And what is that? That is the global banker and cabal resignations around the world. When I first started talking about this show a few weeks ago, there was, I think, 60 world leaders and bankers that had resigned and resignations. Now, I am happy to report we are up to 320 resignations from world banks, investment houses, money funds, and world leaders worldwide. 320. Things are really happening. The Galactic Federation has given the cabal and most of the world leaders or whoever is not of the light to step down by March 31st, and this is what's showing it's working. Something is happening. The mainstream media, of course, is not reporting it, but it is happening and going on. So check this out. I posted the article up on StarseedEnergyRadio.com. 320 resignations. It's amazing. On another front, rumors persist that former Microsoft chief Bill Gates has been arrested for his interference with the global economic referendum measures being directed by the Chinese and their Asian allies. This is reported first by Benjamin Fulford. I also saw another article where they actually called up Microsoft to verify this, and they said no comment. Bill Gates owns about half of Monsanto. His father is huge into eugenics. Google this stuff. Check it out. As I always say in the show, don't listen to what I say. Do your own homework. Check it out. Google, YouTube it, and the information's out there. Also, another hunt is on and cable arrests accelerating, and there's also been an indication reported that former President George H.W. Bush Sr. has also been arrested and detained as well and released. Now, this has been happening. We've had several reports of people. Also, Timothy Geithner was arrested and released last week. This is reported. Actually, it was on mainstream news. Judge Napolitano on Fox News actually talked about it, reported it the week he got fired 2 weeks ago. You can Google this stuff and check it out. Also, the breaking news that the Pope in the Vatican is stepping down. This is reported on March 8th. Pope Benedict, a.k.a. John Ratzinger, will resign as of April 15th, 2012, as reported by Italian Daily News. Check that out. So you have Timothy Geithner, one of the Bushes, Bill Gates, and now the Vatican priest, the Pope, is stepping down. These are huge, exciting breakthroughs, Star Fam. Things are happening. This is amazing news. So check this stuff out. I posted articles up on there. And, keep following this stuff. And this is the stuff you need to share with friends, family, and get them excited. This is the year of change and the year of acceleration and transformation. And these are the signs that are proving it. So exciting, exciting stuff. And with that, as always, joining us on the show, we have Dr. Louis Torrey from drtorrey.com. And he's going to give us a Cosmic Code update. As he reported last month, he talked about Iran and how Iran was going to announce they're going to go back to talks and everything else that he talked about, and that's exactly what happened. It was 2 days shy of his prediction, but he was